Alrighty, morning everyone, and welcome back to another beautiful video on this beautiful channel on another beautiful day. In today's video, we are going to talk about my main sources of income from scrap. Yeah, what I pay for the stuff, how I process the stuff, so on and so forth. I'm probably going to do a few videos about that topic because there's a lot of stuff that I do to make really good profit. We are gonna just talk about the stuff that I do regularly now today. So yeah, we're gonna start with that. The first source of pretty much income, I would say, is probably the money that comes from copper wire. Copper wire is obviously the most easy stuff to scrap that you can come across, obviously, besides just pure copper. It's also the stuff that most people generally want because it's really easy to process, as I said, stuff like that, really easy to find. It's mostly used everywhere you look. So there's a few different kinds of copper wire that I buy. We talked about that before. We've got thicker stuff like that. We've got your usual extension cords like that. We've got real big stuff like this stuff. Then we've got like these multi-core, solid core things. They come in bigger sizes and then even bigger sizes and so on and so forth. And then this flex wire stuff, which is also pretty high grade. And then you've got also your coax and stuff like that, which I also buy. But pretty much how I make money on this stuff is I process it. I take the copper out of it and I just sell the copper as copper. Not with every wire though. With these wires, yes. With this stuff, I actually do not process this. I sell this as is. This is how I make money on it. I buy it for, let's say, around $1.20, $1.30, maybe $1.40 at the moment. And I sell it for about $1.90 a kilo. So that's how I make money on that stuff. Pretty much just for bringing it to the scrap yard because the customer doesn't really want to do that. So yeah, but this is obviously also the stuff that you get when you do street scrapping, and this is also the stuff that I generally find when I maybe go around in my town and stuff like that and do some, I can't call it street scrapping because that's illegal in this weird country, but I go around and I look for stuff. There we go, we'll call it that, and I got a lot of this stuff when I do just that. And you can make a good amount of money also from that if you collect a lot of it. So obviously the bigger stuff, you can also pay a little bit more because you're processing it yourself. And you're pretty much making money off of your time that it takes to process the stuff, and not just on the time that it would take the customer to sell it. So with stuff like this, which is around like 85% copper content, I would probably pay $5.50 maybe a kilo nowadays, which I feel is a decent price. I still have to completely strip it down and still have to sell it, and I think $1 profit a kilo is all right. You know, because at the end of the day, if anyone would do that on their own without any equipment, stuff like that, it would take a really long time. It would not really be worth it. So in comparison to just selling it, right, the difference of like $1 for a kilo, you know, gotta be really quick to make that happen. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would pay for something like that, for example, and I would make about $1 profit. I obviously don't always make $1 profit with, like, for example, stuff like this, which has about 50% copper recovery, more like 45. I tend to pay maybe $3, possibly something like that, and so I make like 50-60 cents a kilo in profit, but it is pretty easy to scrap. I would prefer to pay less, obviously, but that's my absolute maximum. And for stuff like this, for this really big stuff, which is 90% plus, it's really probably like 95, but around 90%, we'll call it that. And I would probably pay like almost $6 for that. And obviously, there's not a lot of profit in that, but it's really, really easy to scrap this. You can probably do 100 kilos in 10 minutes with that. It's really like, it's that easy. Just use a knife. There we go. It's simple as can be. So that's that. Really like the main source of income for most scrappers, but not for me. I make my money off transformers and other electrical thingies like that. Recently I started looking into these things. I'm pretty much sure everyone has seen one of those. It's pretty much these big transformer thingies that are in between wires for appliances or stuff like that that need a lot of amps. usually, and they pretty much just transform some of the electricity that goes into something else, whatever. It depends on the appliance that it's in front of. But there's a transformer in there that pretty much only contain of a transformer. This thing weighs about a kilo, and so I get these stuff for really cheap, like for really cheap. I don't even pay scrap steel price for that, but it's technically just a transformer. And if you can crack them open pretty quickly, you can make some decent money. So that's definitely something I've been looking into recently, and I've actually made some good money for that because they are usually also transformers in there that you can beat apart, not like, for example, these ones, which are not something you can beat apart. You know, they are layered. You would have to cut those, which is really annoying. Like really annoying. Cutting transformers like this small, yes, you can make some good money off of that as well, of course. But it's annoying. It gets old after some time. It's a lot of hammering or a lot of cutting, depends on what you want to do. Just not something that I would recommend if you want to keep your sanity. So I really don't like this. Most of these are ones that you can just beat apart, and they're usually not even welded because obviously they are encased in this resin stuff. They don't need to be welded. So that's definitely something I do. What I also do, obviously, which I don't have here right now, is cutting apart stators. You've seen that in plenty of my videos before, and that's probably how I make most of my money. Obviously, also on really big transformers. Really big transformers and stators are probably pretty much equivalent in the amount of money that I make from them. But that's really decent. Really easy to work them when you using, for example, a sawzall to cut off the ends, or use a air hammer, as I'm doing it in air chisel. That works really well as well. You can also use an electrical chisel. Probably works better, but they tend to not be very powerful. So if you get a good one, yes, sure, that would work really good as well. Probably better than the air hammer. But yeah, that's definitely a thing, and you can do that. What you can also make a crap ton of money on is these electrical switches that I obviously talk about, that I always talk about, not obviously, geez. Plates like this, solid copper, silver coated, got about 5 kilos from just one switch of this stuff, and then you still have the big copper coil that's probably like another 10 kilos. So, you know, stuff like that you can really also make a good amount of money on, because you don't really pay more for that than for example, transformers or motors, like about $1 a kilo at the moment. At least I pay that. And so, yeah. Like, the stuff is worth like in excess of $3.50 a kilo, so you really make a solid amount of money, and you can even keep these things for free and you still make a lot of money. So that's really something that you can do, that I do, and that I've made like a couple of $1,000 over the last couple of months, which is really cool. Definitely can't complain about that. And definitely something to look into if you haven't already. What you could also look into is, let me grab that here, stuff like this. This is a bronze head for one of those little pumps that I've scrapped on the channel before. This should be cast bronze. It can also be cast brass. Kind of depends. This looks to be cast bronze for me, because it's got a very coppery tint to it, not like brass, like pure brass would be, like this one. I don't know if you can see the difference really. This one looks a little bit more coppery actually now in the light, but trust me, this one looks much more yellow than this. This one has more of a coppery color, and so I think it's bronze. Cast bronze is worth more than brass, definitely, because it's got more copper in it. I would probably be able to get $5 a kilo for cast bronze, whereas I'm only gonna get like $3.50, $3.70 for brass. So definitely a good chunk of difference. Not at my scrapyard though. I think I'm getting the same price for them. But I keep those because definitely not all of them. I've got a lot of these pumps. I had a lot of these pumps that I recently scrapped, a couple of hundred of them actually, and I kept some of the heads. We did also scrap 1 or 2 of those on the channel before, I think, but you know, that was like the tip of the iceberg of this scrapping pump deal. But these are really good, because pumps, they usually don't have any value. If they got their cast iron, this thing is usually made out of cast iron on cheaper pumps. If you got this cast iron top, they aren't worth crap. Like, they are not worth the motor price at all. It's maybe 5% copper recovery in them. Don't even bother. Like, don't even bother buying them for anything that's not scrap steel price. They aren't worth any more. So, you know, you gotta still take them apart. I mean, they might be worth like 30-40 cents a kilo, but you still gotta take them apart. There's no profit in that. Like, just don't buy them for scrap steel price. If anything, that's it. But what I do, I buy these for less than the copper motor price, but a little bit more than scrap steel, because this customer basically only gives me these with the brass or bronze heads, so would not be fair at all to only give them like scrap steel price, and I would never do that. But this is definitely a really good deal. If you get a lot of those, this is a kilo, 1 kilo of brass. That's $3.50 at my yard, but you could really get like $5 for that, no problem. So, you know, with stuff like that, you can really make a lot of money really quickly, because just, for example, they are attached with 4 screws onto the pump. You can unscrew them, take the pump, sell the pump as a motor, and sell this as brass. You're making money on the motor, and you're making money on this, and a really good amount of money on this. So there's a lot of money to be made here, but no one knows what they are worth, apparently, because no one buys them. My customer told me that they couldn't sell it to anyone for anything more than scrap steel price, and they wanted more for that. So I was like, yeah, how about double? And they were like, oh, that sounds pretty good. It's still not pretty good. I could probably pay another double amount on the amount that I'm paying now and still make a crap ton of money. So if you get your hands on this, buy it. It's always worth it. Never disappointed by those. Something else that you can obviously do is, if you've got very clean copper, for example from copper wire like these, I curl them up into little donors like that if I want to keep the copper for melting and stuff like that. Or maybe also from transformers, but be very careful with the stuff from transformers. If there's something attached to it, don't melt it. These pure copper things from transformers, yes, but be very careful with everything else. Copper pipes, obviously, yeah, you can melt them as well into bars like these, and bars like these pretty much sell for around double copper price, sometimes even triple or more than that. Depends on the quality of the bar. I would never sell a bar like this because I could only sell it for double of the copper value of it, which is still alright, you know. I would still make money, even with the insane gas prices nowadays. It doesn't matter, you know, the gas is not a lot of money in comparison to the amount of money you can make with casting bars, but I just cut myself on the bar, I just noticed that. Anyways, you can really make a good amount of money on this. You need a good amount of clean copper to melt, and then you can pretty much just pump those out and people are gonna buy them. And who's to blame them, you know, because the professionally manufactured cast copper bars go for upwards about 50 euros a kilo, which is ridiculous at a copper price at like 8 or 9 euros a kilo. So, you know, no one wants to really buy that. And if you can buy stuff like this for a cheaper price, most people are going to go for that are interested in this kind of stuff. Obviously, if someone's not interested, you know, what are you going to do? But this is also a good way to make some money without actually scrapping. It's just really like having fun melting some stuff. It's easy to do. Obviously, be careful. Molten copper is pretty hot, so don't touch it, don't lick it, don't do anything with it besides casting it into a mold, and don't complain to me if you burn yourself. But it's definitely something that you can make a good amount of money on, and it's also fun if you like stuff like that. So yeah, now my table is pretty much filled with all kinds of scrap thingies, and I gotta clean up a little bit here. But I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know, what do you do to make money in scrap? Or do you even make money in scrap? Or do you just do it for the fun of it? Whatever. Let me know all that. And if you've got any more questions, be sure to write them in the comments below as well. I'd be very happy to about that, and I would also gladly answer all of those. So yeah. If you want to, you can also rate the video with like a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever you might want to do. And also you can subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any new videos. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.